I just want to let the men on that stage know that they are actually living a lie. And as long as they are living a lie, they can have no fellowship with God. They need the love of Jesus in their life. That is what is missing. The Holy Word, the scriptures of God's Bible, is what they need in their life.
Well,
I love Jesus very much.
yeah, I think their point is that the lie is failing to acknowledge this interest. And that's what they think is crippling. Yes?
I was just going to ask the question the same as what the gentleman asked on religion, if it played an important factor in the house. Does it interfere
It's not
at
a
all?
religious matter. The cross-dressing doesn't involve going to church or not going to church.
This is not a question of
right.
morals.
Yes.
I love my Lord and my Maker. Believe
I
him.
think it's terribly unfair of you to have married women in your life way back when. I don't know how many of you are married, to have married them and not told them this in
All
the
my
very
wives
beginning.
knew about it.
You're right.
All my wives
When you first got married? Before you asked him to marry you?
before I was married to both
And
my
discuss children in your life in the future, and,
yes.
you know, honey, can I borrow your clothes? I mean, and
No.
you guys seem to be full-blown with this thing, with the hair, with the nails, to the crossing of the legs. And I think there's feminine tendencies here, and I think you should go see a psychiatrist.
We practice. Practice makes perfect.
Women dress up like men. They don't let their hair grow on their legs
That's
for
right.
3 weeks. They cut off their hair.
That was the point I was making earlier.
Understand that not all of us need
I have
to
a
dress
question
to
for the
perfection.
doctor. You says that there is a female character wanting to come out in
Yes.
these men. Could it be split personality?
No. It is a different phenomenon. With split personalities, there is less consciousness and deliberateness. This is a very deliberate, conscious behavior.
Hollywood has two themes of the transvestite. They're either schizophrenic people who, when they dress up, go out and blast people away because they're, that makes them loony, or they're some kind of professional hitman, and this is how they can sneak up on people unawares. And we're the most peaceful, unobtrusive, mild-mannered people you can imagine.
Hi,
we
thanks
don't want
for waiting. Go ahead.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I am calling because I am an American Indian, and I resent the implication that these people have implied that American Indians have dressed this way. Furthermore, I feel that this is a tremendous form of child abuse and neglect. You know, as far as these men go, I feel that they should all grow up and dress as men.
We're not implying that they dress that way. The question, the answer to that question was, is this a problem of any particular ethnic group or religion or denomination? And it's not. It covers all aspects of life.
This is like implying that John Wayne used to dress up as a man. Now, this is an American legend.
Very anamorphic. You better watch it.
Yeah. We do thank you for setting the record straight. The last thing we want to do is create more problems
Phil,
for...
I'd like to address the issue that the lady in the audience brought up about the unfairness to the wives, because I think that's something that's going through a lot of women's minds, and I know it went through mine. And I think the thing that women have to understand is the fear factor. Here's a man who fell in love with a woman. If I tell her, will she reject me? And he tried to tell me 100 times and didn't have the courage. And then when he did tell me, he said to me, would you have turned me away 7 years ago before we were married? And I had to look him straight in the face and say, I don't know. I was a different person when we were married than when I was told. And I think that it's not a question of wanting to keep it secret from some malicious reason, but simply because it's being afraid.
Hi, thanks for waiting.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I was wondering, what do their co-workers think where they work? Do they know that they dress like this? Do they tell them? Do they ever see them? Now that they're on TV, and naturally they will see them, but what do they think of it?
I think the situation varies. In my case, my regional manager knows that I am a cross-dresser. It doesn't appear to make any difference in our business relationship and how we view each other. I know this varies among people because there is a certain element of risk as far as job is concerned.
I have two friends at work who know, and it doesn't matter.
Have you ever been caught?
I have.
What happened?
Well, it got me out of the Navy prematurely.
It did.
They didn't take kindly to this, and it's hard to dress as a woman on a ship, I can tell you that.
that would be...
And get away with it. But I escaped that. I was caught by my brother once, and he has said nothing about it since, and neither have I. And I hope to leave it that way.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Tootsie.
That's me.
I'm sure you've heard that before, Deanna. Hi, go ahead.
Hi, I just want to let you know that I knew someone 10 years ago, a good friend that was a cross-dresser, and when he first told me, I was shocked. But I think it's up to the individual, not for society to judge them.
Yeah.
This, by the way, is not new.
Let me just, I got so much energy.
Bill, this gentleman in gray, you said you were married a number of times.
Twice.
Was this problem what caused the breakup of your marriages?
No, I did not divorce my first wife because I was a cross-dresser. I divorced her for other reasons. But my second wife, I told prior to the marriage, and she is very supportive and understanding and would have been here today but had to work.
I would just like to make a comment to Bonnie. I would like to take my hat off to her for being so understanding for her husband. I don't think I could do it, but, you know.
You'd be surprised what you find down inside when faced with it.
I just want to know if they changed their names, like when they are these people, you know, these women. The one said his name is Lee, so it really doesn't matter. But the other people on the panel.
Foolish being called George or Fred.
Yeah.
Boy George.
Yes. We create a femme name, yes.
Oh,
I don't think all women feel threatened necessarily. I think a lot of women's response is, this is a big problem. If my husband was doing this, I would view it as a big problem and want to get help.
We're not trying to say it's not.
It's a pragmatic problem, yes.
Something very interesting you mentioned earlier. Men more now are having their hair styled. I have my fingernails done. I don't perceive that to be gay, but the majority of men that I know perceive it to be. What is your feeling on that?
Well, grooming is something that men are finally starting to pick up on. I get my hair permed every 3 months and love my beautician, but she doesn't know about Deanna.
I usually, when I'm working, do sometimes have transparent nail polish on, and I notice it does attract attention.
I have to put on nails because my work destroys them.
What will be interesting is to see if in the next 10 years, if we have the incidence of cross-dressing that you see here, because society's becoming more open. We're allowed to share our feelings more.
Yes.
What happens when you go out? Do men try to make passes or try to pick you up, and how do you deal with that situation?
Just how women deal when you make passes at them.
This young man wants you to know that he only engages in voluntary.
I'm not your type, buddy.
Do you also disguise your voices when you go into public?
We try.
It's difficult to disguise it. I don't.
Do you think that maybe we're so caught up in the age of feminism that you have like a subconscious jealousy to want to be a woman?
No, because it's been going on for years. We have a cross-dresser in our organization that's 80, and he's been cross-dressing for 55 years.
My mother told me about a cross-dressing in her little town in Texas back in the 1920s. A supposed married couple. This was a gay cross-dresser, obviously.
And when we were in Tombstone, Arizona, I took a picture of a female impersonator in the Birdcage Cafe or whatever it was in 1886, who also turned out to be a bank robber.
Over here, please.
I'm still very confused. You know, we keep talking about this behavior that you dress up. Could you give us a little bit more insight into, like, the feelings behind it?
Why don't we let the doctor do this?
Well, I can't speak for them, but I think what does happen is that there is a compulsion, which is a very strong compulsion that says somehow I have to let Deanna out or Lee out or whatever. Interestingly, one of the things we have not touched upon is that very often the cross-dressing begins with an erotic sexual attachment. Sure. And then as these women age, that becomes less necessary. People will dress and not necessarily masturbate, not necessarily want to have a sexual experience. It becomes more integrated into the total persona. But to talk about how across the board people cross-dress would be misleading you, because each one of these women will have a different story about when they dress, how completely, and then what they do when they dress.
Every discussion of this winds up in pigeonholing. Type A, Type B, Type C. Yes. The people who are in it work out elaborate philosophies to explain it to themselves, and then they try to force it on the next cross-dresser that they make. And it doesn't work.
I'll give you one example of how it has helped me since I've been out of the closet. My own self-esteem and opinion of myself has improved, and this has directly been experienced on the job. I'm getting more sales for the company, And I feel better about talking to people.
And it's improved his marriage.
Mariette Allen joins us. You're working, Ms. Allen, on a book of photos of cross-dressers, so?
Photographs and interviews of, I'm calling The Woman Who Lives Inside, Portraits of Men as Women.
That's the title.
Yes.
Let's see just some of your work here.
Yes.
Briefly. Can you see that up there?
Yes, I can. I have been focusing recently a lot on families. And one of the points that I really would like to make is that we've been all talking about this as a problem and as something to be upset about. Actually, I see it as an opportunity. This is not a tragedy. This is, I think these men have a greater and richer life for it.
They do if they come to grips with the behavior and get rid of the guilt. Yeah. I think, obviously, that's the big liberating feature of... And this is the ultimate expression of togetherness, going public with this on a television program.
That's correct.
And we'll be back in just a moment.